My name is Jeremiah Mbazor. I am a nuclear engineer from Nigeria. I trained as a nuclear engineer in South Korea and also did some research. So putting it together, I stayed for almost a decade in South Korea. My specialty in my research is focused on probabilistic safety analysis of nuclear power plants in shutdown condition. So I dealt with the research on the effects of any eventuality or accident on the shutdown cooling pump of a nuclear power plant in the shutdown state, trying to model the Fukushima accident. After that, I also work as a scientific officer at the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission in Nigeria, where I work with other team of amazing people to develop the plan for the first deployment of nuclear power plant in Nigeria. So this has taken me to do research in the field, like taking samples to determine the background radiation of the proposed nuclear power plant site, and also other activities that surround the first deployment of nuclear power plants. And I'm also involved in nuclear security because it is also a very good parallel to safety, although they're a little bit of kind of niche area between these two concepts. But yeah, security is a very critical aspect of nuclear technology that I do not take for granted in my research. Okay, my area of expertise by training and research is in safety analysis and also security analysis. My master's degree thesis was on the security analysis of nuclear power plants in decommissioning stage. When a plant has reached its end of design life, it has to be decommissioned. And at this stage, there are the security concerns because sometimes this used fuel that are in the spent fuel pool might be maybe taken advantage of or weaponized. So I did analysis of the possible causes and the consequences of any security breach to this part of the nuclear power plant complex.
This be based on?
Thank you very much. My guest lecture will span a lot of breadth, if I would say, given that after my sojourn, my research sojourn in South Korea, I developed expertise in the technical aspects of the nuclear engineering field. Coming out from there, of course, the environment there is different from where I am right now. This place in Nigeria here, we are more like developing, trying to get to the level of development that obtains in South Korea. So I can give lecture both on the technical side that involves safety and security, and also here where we are trying to develop, I can give lecture on mentoring, like trying to bring up people up to speed to actually know what's nuclear engineering, what nuclear weapon, what nuclear power plant, and the sciences around nuclear technology. Yeah, I can give a very good lecture in that regard. Thank you very much for that question. Since coming back and staying in Korea, I've been privileged to found an organization called the Nigerian Young Generation in Nuclear and also the African Young Generation in Nuclear. The records are out there and they speak for themselves on the successes that has been achieved. This organization, by the name, by having the name, the word young means it borders on the young folks, and that cuts across both secondary school, high school, and maybe university college students. So this organization caters for the needs of this group. So we share opportunities, We tell them the benefits of nuclear technology. We mentor them on the various aspects of nuclear and how it affects their lives. So yes, I can mentor both, given the capacity I have been able to occupy for the time being. Well, by training and also okay, if I want to tell the story of how I came into the nuclear engineering field or career, well, we normally have what we call national service in Nigeria. So when you graduate, you will serve the country for 1 year. In some other countries, they call it conscription, where you go work for like 2 years. Like in South Korea, you have to go into the military. But in our case, it's not the military. So you can call it paramilitary. It's just a training for 1 year where you work for the government. And then in the course of that activity for me, an advert was made for a call to get graduate trainees, like to train people in the nuclear engineering field. The first time it has ever been done like that for this kind of organization. So I just reluctantly put in my application, and voila, I was accepted. And yeah, since then I've been in the industry, and yeah, it's been a very interesting ride so far. And yeah, it has found me, and I'm finding it every day. Question. Well, sometimes there is a description about the wind. Sometimes the wind blows you where you do not expect. You get, and sometimes you don't know where it is coming from, and you don't know where it is going. But in any case, you try to reposition yourself for the best that will hit you. And when the wrong thing hits you, you shrug it off immediately, pick up yourself, and keep moving. So the attitude of always keep moving and updating and improving yourself is what has led me, I would say, up to this level in my career path. Thank you very much. Right now, we are at the precipice of a new dawn globally. The Russia-Ukraine conflict can never be overlooked. The ripple effect has spanned the global space, given the effect of globalization and also information technology. So you cannot take for granted nuclear issues globally. So it is important for us to consider the impact of nuclear activities anywhere we are, because a nuclear accident anywhere is a nuclear we create a nuclear kind of negative impact or feeling everywhere, so you cannot just be isolated from the world. You have to be concerned. You have to play your part in the nuclear space. So it is important for us, because whatever we do, the activities of people that maybe might maybe have the wrong hands on the wrong kind of device, will impact us in the long run, owing to the effect of globalization. So because we live in a global world and a global village, as people may say, we must take seriously any nuclear issue, and this must also be part of it. Being involved in highly enriched highlights the fact that we must take cognizance of the fact that nuclear issues are very paramount, both for good and both for bad. The current issue that concerns me the most right now is climate change. The climate is changing. Whether you believe it or not, the impact will hit you in one way or the other. And the way we respond to it has the greatest impact on how our life will be going forward, either by directly or indirectly. So Climate change is caused by human activities, and it's the same human activities that will ameliorate the effects of this climate change. So we must all act together, put all our apps together to mitigate the effects of climate change. In some parts of the world, they have not contributed appreciably, like Africa or the developing world has not contributed appreciably to the causes of climate change, especially in terms of carbon footprint, But they are not immune to the effects of climate change that's like all the activities that caused it from other parts of the world. So you cannot say, okay, because I didn't cause it, I should not be concerned. No, we live in a globalized world. We have to put heads together. And the most interesting aspect of the climate concern is energy to me. So we must put heads together to decarbonize our energy sources. While the developed parts of the world, like Germany, has recently closed down its power plants, there is a kind of sense, like there is a little bit of concern on how that will impact their kind of climate contribution, because they are opening up their coal plants, which highlights some level of hypocrisy. So the developing countries are watching, seeing how lip service is being paid to the climate concern. So it is very concerning for me, and I believe that nuclear energy is a clean form of energy that can be used to decarbonize our world, especially our grid, because nuclear energy provides clean electricity, source of electricity that powers the machines or the devices that we use at home, in our industries, and through all the phases of our life. So yes, the most pressing concern for me is climate change, and nuclear technology can, in a very large way, help to mitigate the effects or also to adapt to the effects of climate change.